Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Odin, and I make things on YouTube. Overall, I've made things for most of my life. My father was an inventor and an engineer. He worked with public transit in the Bay Area. He's one of the ones that got the original wheelchair lifts that go from being stairs down to pick up a wheelchair, bring it back in. He was the first one to get that to really work in the early 70s. So I grew up with that guy, watching how to make things. And I think that really influenced me a lot. And then I always loved science fiction. I can remember one of my first costumes I made was in '82 for Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan. I made Khan's SETI Alpha 5 outfit, which is just rags with a metal visor. I didn't actually do a lot of the construction because of my age, but I talked to my parents. I want to take a hat and cut it off and hot glue a visor on it. And it all kind of started with that. Continues on. What was really fun in the 80s is that there is no internet. All you have is the library, which is awesome, but the books only tell you so much. And a lot of books are really simple on what they talk about. It's a lot of interviews with the stars, and they'll kind of gloss over the real technical aspects of how things are done. So you end up having to look at pictures and really try to figure it out based off of other things you read. So now that we have the internet, we can get into really niche videos. Really zero in on one aspect of how to make something. I still pick a topic, but you're able to explain in more detail because you're not competing for airwaves. You're not competing for the cost of being printed. You're making your own video on your own time and putting it on your own YouTube channel to play to your own audience who's willing to watch it. So it works out really well, at least for me. I know there's a lot of guys that do DIY stuff, and I'm one of 6 or 7 that I can think of that are doing well with doing specifically cosplay props. And there's a whole mess of people who do this for woodworking, auto repair, home repair. I go to YouTube at this point to know how to fix my oven when the element burnt out. There's the possibility of making a how-to video is really only dependent on what you want to make a how-to video on. Whatever you think you've got the authority to be able to tell someone on how to do it without leading them astray, go for it. If you feel like you're an authority on these are the best Pokemon cards that Wizards of the Coast ever put out, do a channel on it, do a show on it. People will watch it. So with video, I had been around that the whole time too. I was always interested because of movies. I was always interested in making video. It was really hard to do in the 80s with no funds because everything was videotape or film. As time progressed, I worked with a couple of different local houses here in Sacramento that would do duplication or rental. I got to work with another company called Play Incorporated who made a product called the Trinity, which in time became the TriCaster. That was in the 90s, and that was like 98, 99, and that was the first time I did internet video. In '99, Play was doing 12 hours a day live programming, streaming out over 56K dial-up video. Poor Nathan's trying to go off my body language. So as time continues and I'm working with more video stuff, I end up working with another small video group some of you may have heard of called Smosh. And I was doing the sets and props for them, and I did that for a few years. And their parent company had a channel on how to make props. It was called DIY Prop Shop. Their host was leaving. He was going to another channel, and they needed somebody to step in as a guest host. I was already part of the company and already doing it, and so they allowed me to pitch the idea of this is how I can do it. And I was able to do 13 episodes of DIY Prop Shop over a couple of years. During that time, I could watch the other episodes they were making out of LA, because I was here in Sacramento, and I still am. And all of my videos, I do by myself. I do the building, I do the shooting. I had a cameraman for DIY Prop Shop, and I do all the editing, so I would deliver to Defy Media a finished product. So watching what they were making in LA, it wasn't, I thought the editing was slipping. I thought the quality of what they were doing was going down, mostly because watching it as a how-to video, they were spending a lot of time on a talking head and very little time on what they're doing. My thought with all the how-to videos is that the prop for me, or what you're fixing, or what you're showing off, that's the star of the story. I'm the one telling it because it can't talk. So it was more important to me to show how it was being done than to show me talking about how I did it. So I started my own channel when I saw that theirs was slipping, and that was just 2 years ago. With my channel, just last November, I hit 100,000 views and got my silver play button. I'm a year later now, I'm at 318,000 subscribers. I used the wrong word, not views, subscribers. And yeah, so I was going to talk about how I go about deciding what prop I'm going to build, how I actually build the prop a little bit, but specifically how I shoot it, how I edit it, and then get it all put up. And throughout this whole process, something you might want to remember, the most recent video I posted yesterday morning, I started shooting Monday night. And the other fun thing is I have a day job, so I only do this when I'm supposed to be sleeping. So what am I talking about? This is my trailer. Please, Nathan, this is my channel.
Hello, I'm Odin, and I make things. Here. I have worked on many projects.
He just made this just out of like scraps.
He's the man! And I've made costumes for years. And I still make stuff, but now I have my own series of how-to videos showing the different ways that I have learned to make things. OdinMakes is a step-by-step video tutorial about how I would go about building something, typically out of foam. Each video has the raw materials, how to cut them up, how to glue them together, and how to paint them. I know there are lots of different ways that you can make something, but this is OdinMakes.
And each video runs about 10 minutes. They started out 7. I was really worried about making them too long. I go up to 17 minutes, 18 minutes, and I still get views. It depends on what the prop is, what it's working on with the movie it's coming from or the video game it's coming from. So I don't think length is important. Length is probably important for what you want to say, and I certainly don't want to run into the hour long. I don't want to babble on forever and make the video boring. The majority of the people who's going to watch my stuff is only going to watch it to be entertained. They're not going to actually do it. So I try to remember to keep my videos moving, try to keep them paced at a way that you can follow along and hit the pause button if you want to do it, but if you don't, we're on to the next step and it's entertaining. And to me, that was really very important, and I think one of the things that DIY Prop Shop was starting to lose. It was starting to lose the entertaining for what I was looking for. So when I'm making a video, how do I come up with the idea? I had my format. I'm copying DIY Prop Shop, turning it into my own thing with my own name. How do I come up with a prop? I invite the viewers. At the end of every video, I say, hey, if you got an idea for something for me to make, leave it in the comments below. And I actually look through them. And I look at what people are asking for. And I'll also look ahead to what movies are coming out. Like I know Captain Marvel's coming out next year. And I really like her helmet in the trailer, especially with the mask when she's underwater. But I'll pick something. So like Mjolnir, the Thor's hammer, was something that people asked for constantly while I was on DIY Prop Shop, so it made an easy one to do when I moved to OdinMakes. And then other times, I'm actually inspired. The very first time I saw the new Thor Ragnarok trailer and he put the helmet on, I knew I had to make it. And that weekend, I made a pattern for it and I went through the processes of building it. And one of the fun things that I try to do with the show is when I am actually building it, I'll mentally think about how I'm going to go about doing it. Okay, I'm going to cut foam, I'm going to glue it, I'm going to put some washers in the side so it can move. We made a little plastic piece in between the foam parts so they don't rub on each other and rub the paint off. But the actual details of how I make it, I do all that on camera, especially because that way I can get all the mistakes that I'm doing that's wrong while I'm building it to point out, don't do this, this is a pitfall, don't get caught in that pitfall. When I'm shooting, originally I had a cameraman, which helped. When I'm shooting now, I'm shooting by myself. OdinMakes is at this point a one-man show. It's me sitting in a room with no music, so I can have all the sounds of the tools moving for editing. And I've got cameras set up on tripods that I'm looking at, much like these fine gentlemen here. And I know that the one in the center of the room is the one that I talk to when I want to talk, because that's the setup that I have. And then I have, the other ones are actually set up in my light grid around my table. And I know what the angles are all pretty much pointed at the main place where I work. And if you look at my cutting mat in any of my videos, it's the same one I've had for 3 years now. The center where I'm always working, it's really cut up. I gotta buy a new mat. You look at the edges, it's brand new. I never work over there. So that's my target. That's my focal point for the cameras. He's all set for the next video.
Another request is for me to make something without using any power tools. So for this project, I'm just going to use razor knives, a ruler, glue, and some paint.
So that was a quick advert I did to play on my Instagram account as a teaser for the channel itself. I just knew he was getting prepared for it, so let's go ahead and run it. So during production, I'm standing in the corner of my room. I'm actually in a 20-foot by 30-foot room, but I only use this one corner. And I've got all the cameras pointed at me. The main thing that I'm using for my cameras is I'm talking to a Panasonic GH3. So it's just a DSLR camera that's right out in front of me. I have an inexpensive teleprompter because I do sponsor videos, which is really what pays for everything. And I want to make sure I get the sponsored message right. So using the teleprompter gives me the ability to read off all the things they want me to say exactly the way that I'm supposed to say it without having to try and memorize lines, which I'm not good at. The other 3 cameras are all, oh, and the other big special thing with the Panasonic GH3, GH4, GH5 cameras, they actually pay the taxes as a manufacturer for their DSLR cameras to be video cameras. So unlike the Canons, unlike the Sonys, which are awesome cameras, they don't turn off after half an hour. I can put a 256 gigabyte SD card into it, hit record, and it'll go for 12 hours. Not that I can, but it can. The other 3 cameras I'm using are all called Z-Cams. They're Z-Cam E1. Unfortunately, they just phased them out. B&H Video just had a blowout sale on them last year for $200. I bought 5. They have exactly the same sensor chip as the GH3. And they're pretty much like a GoPro camera. There's a little box camera, but they have the micro four thirds lens mount on them. So unlike a GoPro camera where you're stuck with a giant fisheye lens where everything's in focus forever, I can actually put a lens on it that I want, or afford, and then focus on the spot that I want to do. And the other fun thing is it will shoot the full sensor. So HD, like what we're looking at here, well, that's a picture, but anyway, the screen is 1920 by 1080, right? The Z camera will shoot 1920 by 1920. So in the edit, if I happen to pick something up and I go out of frame, I can actually adjust the image down and keep it in frame. Now try not to scroll while the shot's moving, because that looks funny to me, it looks artificial. So I always kind of pick, this is where it's gonna be for that cut, and then I'll move it around. So every shot with my side cameras off the Z cameras are usually adjusted for the best composition of image. All right, so let's see. I'm making something, I'm standing there, I've got all the cameras rolling. I put SD cards and everything. I hit record on everything because when I get into my creative head, I don't think about camera angles. I'm not thinking about, all right, I gotta move the camera over here to get the shot. And I really don't wanna sit there with a knife in one hand and my phone and I'm gonna do this thing. So the cameras just roll. And I end up with chunks on my timeline that are 2.5 hours long, because that's how long the Z cameras can go with a 64 gigabyte SD card. So when they finish, I can go and dump the footage off and come back down and start up with the next round of SD card recording. That also started working really well for me. That gave me a target. Instead of, oh, I gotta work all day, oh, I gotta work till the camera shut off. So I got a 2-hour goal. I got a 2-hour span that I need to work, and then I can stop and do whatever, reset and do it again. And I usually get through 2 or 3 sessions on a good day. So I go ahead and do the prop. I build the whole thing, warts and all the problems that I have. If I've got any really good mistakes that are either important to know or entertaining to watch, those go in the video. And I bring everything on upstairs, and I put together my raw timeline. So this is gonna be the timeline 1 slide. So the raw timeline, for me, this one's got 5 video layers. This is the video I just put out yesterday. So I got my, this one has 4 different Z cams, the one's on a tripod, and then down here is my GH3 line, which I have a wireless mic attached to, and that's actually my audio, and the only audio I'm worried about. All the other audio I've got on so I can kind of sync it up, but no one's speaking in the other camera, so it's okay if it's a couple frames off. You just need to make sure that I say, hey, I cut the thing, I can find the thing. At the beginning of every one of my 2-hour blocks, this is a single 2-hour block here. At the beginning of every one of my 2-hour blocks, I'll clap. Usually pretty loud, usually 4 or 5 times, something. I try not to do it really rhythmically because I can see it on every one of the waveforms, and it makes it very easy to line up. And I know I never turn the other cameras off, so they're all gonna remain the same. And the Z cameras are really good at being consistent after 2 hours. They're all still recording at the same pace. The GH3 will slip a little. It ends up being up to half a second off after 2 hours just because of the processing speed of the cameras. It's a thing. If you don't have external sync, they're not gonna stay synced. Once I have my full, raw timeline put together, I will start scrubbing through it, starting at the beginning, right? What is this? This is only 8 hours of raw footage with 5 layers. So I'll start scrubbing through it, and I'll write my VO script. All of my videos have voiceover track, VO. The point being that I wanted to make it easier for myself. With DIY Prop Shop, we were supposed to say it on camera while we're doing it to the camera, and I would spend hours trying to get the right sentence out of my mouth. So being able to write it down and then read it off camera made the process a lot faster for me. I'll still pop up and say things during the video. I'll get inspired while I'm doing it. And I can't really see it here, but some of these cuts, they're colored with a mango color is what Premiere calls it. And I know that as I'm writing, the mango sections are the pieces that I want to have me talking to the camera. Once I have my script written, I'll go back down to my set. I'll turn all my lights on again to make sure everything kind of has the same sound. Put on the same lav. I've got a wireless lav that I wear under my shirt. I just clip it inside the polo. So one of the reasons I'm always wearing these shirts. And I read my script. I stand there with my tablet in one hand, and I read the script to the camera. Then I'm able to come back up, and I'll start up a blank timeline. So the next timeline picture I have is, this is my blank. I've got my music, because I purchased music a couple years ago to do something. So I'm still using the same music constantly. Thankfully, no one's called me out on it on YouTube. It was like, you got the same soundtrack every time. Well, yeah, I only paid for so many songs. I really don't want to get shut down for stealing somebody else's music. All this came from Audio Blocks. They have some fun stuff. It was nice because you get your subscription, you can download whatever you want while you have your subscription, and then you get to keep it forever and be able to use it, so long as you can show that you downloaded the files while you were a member. And while I'm working the blank one, I will put my end together. This is my end graphics where I thank my peoples, and then I'll put the beginning together. And I'll start laying in what I call the A roll, which is really just laying in the voiceover. So we do the next timeline, please. And I start laying in the A roll. For me, my A roll is just the voice track. And my mic has got a condense on it in such a way that I'll inhale and it sounds like I'm drowning. So I'll go through and turn down all the, so it's not as loud on my speakers. So I'll lay in that whole thing, and that'll give me a good idea on what my runtime's gonna be. This one was, the Bone Split? No, this is the Pip-Boy, the most recent Pip-Boy I did in August. And it ran 17 minutes as a video. And I don't remember how much I had as a raw footage. But all I do is I take a single cut of all the video layers and drop it on to support whatever it was I was saying at that point. It's like, and then I glued this thing here. So I found exactly the point when I'm gluing that thing there, or really close to it, and put it on the timeline. And the reason I bring over all 4 is I don't know until I get a couple of them on, usually, as to which angle I'm going to want to use. And the angles matter to me because I want to be able to see what I'm doing. I'm right-handed, so the left camera usually gets blocked by my right hand. But also just the flow of it. I tried to avoid jump cuts. Coming from a broadcast background and from a theatrical background, or movie theater background, I tried to avoid the jump cuts of just the same camera angle cutting, because that's not what I'm used to seeing. It's acceptable on YouTube. If that's what you want to do, go for it. It's easier, it's one camera. I just don't like to, so I like to change the angles. I got friends at work that joke to me about how it's just this carousel. Oh, yeah, it is. But as I continue building through, we can go to the next slide, and I end up with a full timeline. Now this is the one that just aired yesterday, if you want to call it airing on YouTube. And so this video actually ended up being a little shorter. It's only 10 minutes long. And I've got my start. Here's one of my sound bites where I wanted to be on camera. This section here with the Raise music. This is the sponsor video for the Gods and Glory app that they wanted me to promote, where I'm using the teleprompter and actually use green screen with that as well. I set myself up in front of a green screen so I can wear my helmet and swing my silly sword and talk about the things on screen and put myself in the lower corner. I've actually had this particular advertiser tell me they really like that, and they've asked for me to do exactly that 4 times now, 5 times now. Sponsorships are nice, but it's like the whole thing pull all the way through, and I get my little end spiel, and then my graphic, and so forth. And then at the very end, much like Marvel movies, I enjoy putting the little Easter egg at the end, the little last sting, usually it's a joke or it's another mistake. With this one, it's me complaining about how something didn't work again. And it's fun to see in the comments, some people actually watch all the way to the end and will mimic what I'm saying in the comments. And the comments are, when you publish a video, the comments is a lot of what I'm there for. That is the inspiration to keep going, for me. I'm really lucky that my fan base is super supportive and that they don't just come on it, oh, you don't know what you're doing, you're just lose weight. I get that, but I don't really. I get a very positive, caring bunch of people that either just tell me to make the Omnimatrix from Ben 10 or talk about what the video was and how funny certain things were. And they'll point things out with the YouTube time link. Let's see, is that the last timeline shot? I think so, isn't it? So, yeah, that was all 4, right? Yeah, that was all 4. So then I upload the video. Typically, because I have a day job, unfortunately for me, when I'm uploading, it is the hour before I want to upload. Something I learned with DIY Prop Shop, that the videos seem to do really well when they're released during the work week, and they would do it at 10 a.m. Pacific time, because that was still going to be 1 p.m. Eastern time, so everybody in the workforce in America can take time while they're sitting at their desk and watch it. When I put something out on the weekend, my numbers aren't nearly as good, even if it's a Marvel property, and I assume that's because the workforce isn't trapped in front of their computer, ready to take a 15-minute break from their day. So I try to stick with that. And because of that, especially this last Thursday night, I didn't sleep at all. I was up all night getting this video done so I could get it out on Monday, so I could meet the sponsorship requirement of the 9th to the 11th, which 10 and 11 is Saturday and Sunday. Don't want those days. Got it out. I got it out at 11 a.m. instead of 10 a.m., so a little later than I wanted, but it's fine. So the things that I've learned that seemed really important for me with the video content that I do, because I get told how well things look. I have had friends help me with learning the cameras. I have had friends help me with lighting stuff, because I was never a lighting guy, but I talked to people who knew lighting, theatrical lighting, as well as video lighting, with how to put things together. Invited them to come over and help me out. When you're watching the trailer, I have 2 different sets. At first, I was at a friend's house in his separate garage, and now I'm at the media center, which has a different shop that I'm able to be set up in. The first one was just LED shop lights. Everything was flooded with light. It was easy. Now I've tried to have a little more dramatic lighting going on, a little more in the background. It's a little more interesting to look at, but it's not really important for building the prop. So good lighting, good sound. I'm wearing a wireless lav because I have access to one. Those are expensive. I don't expect you to have one, but don't rely on just the camera sound as being your good sound, because typically it's not the good sound. You want to have something close to you that you can talk to. And then make sure that you're more or less upbeat and can at least present that you know what you're doing. There's times that I don't know what I'm doing. I just pretend like I know what I'm doing, and by the end of the video, it looks like I know what I'm doing, and it worked, so I must know what I'm doing. It's kind of entertaining to be, oh, well, you're the authority on this now. This has happened to me on the show Beyond Geek. He hands me a bunch of chips that I had to reprogram in order to make a homebrew NES game. So I had to take apart the track and field cartridge, reprogram chips with a new game that someone wrote, put the cartridge back together so we can actually play it in NES. It's like, yep, you're doing the video on this, you're the authority. Oh, okay, I better go look that up. I hadn't done it before. And that was a good also example for me for what I needed to do for a how-to video, because a lot of the guys that were showing off that would leave out a step that seemed obvious to them. Yeah, there's an internet meme where it's, I got a great idea and I'll do a thing. Step 3 is question marks and step 4 is profit. Well, I run into the step 3 question marks a lot in how-to videos. And I was trying to make sure I didn't have a question mark step. And I think that's probably one of the most important things for me, was to not have a question mark step and to show that even making a mistake, you can recover and keep going. It's a lot of fun. All the pictures I do get on Facebook, Instagram, emails of people who have made stuff that I've made, using the patterns that I put up for free on my channel. Here's the pattern, go for it, please make it. I make money, to be honest, I make money off views. I don't want to make money off the pattern. So if I got my pattern and it's not super detailed step by step how to use it, you come back to the video to watch it. You come back to the video to rewind it to watch the steps. That's where I'm actually making money, and it's hopefully more entertaining for those who are doing it. So, how-to videos. That's my style. It's a lot of work. I give up a lot of time. I haven't been to the movies much in the past year, but I've made 40-something videos for YouTube. I've picked up 200,000 subscribers in the past year on YouTube, and with my video efforts that I've done, I've got the silver play button from YouTube. I have an Emmy from working at PBS. And this year, I was voted Best Upcoming YouTuber from the Sacramento News and Review for their Best of Sacramento competition. So I was actually thank you. I was actually very proud and happy with all that. So that kind of wraps it up. I don't know if there's any big question marks, but I'm more than happy to do any kind of Q&A about anything, even if it's specific props, if it's about why I did such a thing, whichever. And I see someone in the back really stretching. So he's saying that he's seen my portal gun video, the Aperture Science handheld portal device, or Rick Sanchez? The one here, okay. And he's also asking if it's stressful to be a YouTuber. It's only stressful to try to make sure that I keep consistent videos coming out. The YouTube algorithm really likes it when you release stuff consistently, especially weekly. And what I don't want to do is water my channel down with, hey, I had Cheerios this morning, how's it going? I really want to make sure I have content that's what I want to have on my channel. In order to do that and have a day job and actually spend an evening or so, on occasion with my wife, having dinner or whatever, it can be stressful to try and get things done. I don't have a whole lot of weekends anymore. How do I memorize all of my lines? I don't. Generally, I try to, I'm really bad at it. And when I get tired, because often I'm doing this at 3 in the morning. When I get really tired, my mental buffer for how many words I need to speak gets to be about 3 of them. And I will spend upwards of an hour saying a sentence that doesn't sound like I'm fumbling through it. That's why I bought a teleprompter. All this, I wrote it down last night as if it was a report. I made 3 pages long on Google Docs. And at this point, I'm remembering as much as I can from what I wrote, and I'm just going with it, just because I've done it, so I can talk about it. Yes, sir?
What's one of your favorite things you've made?
One of my favorite things, what is one of my favorite things that I've made? Well, these guys I definitely like. I really like the Leviathan axe because it lights up. That was in the video. It's from God of War. It's got a light switch in it, and all the runes in the axe lights up blue. I actually really like, and it was one of the things I wanted to do, hardly anyone asked for it, was the tri-dimensional chess set from the original Star Trek for the 1960s. It's bent aluminum with acrylic boards, 3 layers of chess. I had a lot of fun building it. It was something different that I don't normally do. Poor numbers, nobody else cared. I liked it. Yes?
What video had the most comments?
Most comments? Okay, so asking what video had the most comments. Comments and views kind of go together a lot. The most one is probably I made the Infinity Gauntlet, and I made that a year ago when when I thought the first Infinity War trailer was going to come out. I was actually wrong. I put it out a couple months beforehand. That one, because it has almost 5 million views, probably has the most comments. Most of those run in the high thousands. And then I did one for Dragon Ball Z where I said Saiyan Scouter because I haven't watched a whole lot of Dragon Ball Z, and not Saiyan Scouter, because Saiyan looked like it was wrong to me. Everybody who watches it likes to comment, "You pronounced it wrong." Because honestly, with the internet, every time someone logs in to watch the video, it's the first time for them. For them, I just did it. Doesn't matter that I did it last November, I just did it. And so they gotta let me know I said it wrong. So I probably have over 9,000 comments about how I said it wrong. Trying to see someone else. Sir, with a yes.
You mentioned sponsorships. What sponsorships do you get?
So sponsorships, what sponsorships do I get and how much do I earn from them? The sponsorships, it's fun. I have yet to pursue a sponsor. I have yet to approach anyone and say, hey, I want you to give me money. I've lucked out that I have found that people have come to me, if you want to call it lucking out. I assume most of these people that approach me are like brokers, I suppose is a word for it. They represent this other company. Hey, we want you to do Gods and Glory. I'm going to pay you $2,000 to do a 30-second or 45-second ad for Gods and Glory. They'll give me a minute and a half of copy that I'm supposed to read in 45 seconds. And then they'll pay me $2,000. The highest I've gotten for a single sponsor has been $4,000. So I'm able to make more in one video than I make in a month working at the television station, depending on the sponsor. I got a lot of, well, you sir, San Francisco.
What is one like YouTuber that's out to that you like to collaborate with?
That I like to collaborate with. Well, there's my friends that are local, like Beyond Geek. He's also local, so I've done some collaboration with him. I've appeared on his channel. He's appeared on mine. I want to collaborate with some of my old DIY prop shop friends, especially Hendo, because she's still trying to do Hendo's how-to, which is kind of the same thing. We were both on prop shop. The other artists that were on that either aren't doing it or have gone on to something else. I would really love to collaborate with either Joel, the 3D printing nerd, or Bill Duran from Punished Props, and William Shakespeare, but he's on the East Coast. He's like me. He's like the foam and more the introductory level, medium level of what to build. Yes. All right, a suggestion for a video. Power armor from Fallout. Yes, I have yet to do a full big body build. I want to, but because of the time frame of my building, which is a week to 2 weeks, I haven't tackled really big projects yet. What I really want to do, I got to be a guest at the Monterey Comic Con last year, and I'll get to do it again this next year. What I really want to do is Mechagodzilla from 1974. So it's just a big, it's not quite Tin Man, but it's a big pot-bellied Godzilla robot. And literally the original costume has an air conditioning vent on the neck so the actor can see. It's great. Somebody haven't called on. Sir. What prop? Did I have the most fun making? What prop did I have the most fun making? The simpler ones are usually the most fun because they're the most rewarding. I get done quickly. I wanted to make the Matrix of Leadership for the Transformers, the original, again, it was in the trailer, the original animated Transformers movie from the 80s, but I had delayed starting for so long, I wasn't going to meet my Wednesday deadline. I used to have a set deadline for myself every other Wednesday. Now I just try to get one out every other week. So instead, the Sunday night before, I made a double-barreled shotgun. It's like, fine, I'll just do this. It'll be easy. And so I cut it out of foam, a couple pieces of PVC. That was a lot of fun because it was completely off the cuff. I wasn't prepared to do it at all, and I just quickly did it. And it's actually a very popular video. So many hands. Yes? My channel is a kid-friendly channel. I do my best to bleep out the swear words, which usually only happens when something breaks. I let a few slip through because it's funnier when a few go through. But the really big ones, if you have to pay $5 to use, those are all bleeped out. So yeah, it's a kid-friendly channel. But there is sponsorship, and sometimes YouTube will restrict based on ages, who can see videos that are sponsored. So they may not get pushed. A sponsored video may not get pushed to everybody because of age. Yes? My daytime job, I am a video editor at KVIE. So I work at the PBS station here in town, and I'll edit the local programs. And so I'll edit Rob on the Road, and I especially do Art Showcase. which is mostly assembling. We'll get other stuff from other stations throughout the nation that have done an art program, but I'll get to edit the local story and put it all together. And I enjoy that one a lot because I get left alone. Most of the time when you're editing, especially in an environment with a producer and the producer's supervisor and the station supervisor and your supervisor, everybody wants to come in on their own time and individually watch the video that you've worked on and make changes. So Art Showcase, I get left alone and I'm able to just kind of do it, and usually it just gets approved, unless I've got a spelling error, because I'm an editor, I can't spell. Yes? So do I make my own work that I'm interested in making, or do I find work?
Do you just sometimes make some things, or do you like make stuff off of TV shows?
Okay, almost everything I make is off of a TV show, a video game, or a movie, because with the search algorithm, I can say, Odin makes this thing from this movie, and people will actually find it accidentally searching on Google. The occasion that I make something that's my own thing, which I have done, they again don't get as many views because there's no keywords, no search item words that people can find it within YouTube. So my fans see it, but I don't bring in anybody new. So I have done both. 95% of what I'm doing is properties that are owned by somebody else. And that's usually okay, because this is an homage. I'm not claiming to make Mjolnir from the movie. This is how I made my Mjolnir, and that actually kind of makes it okay. Yes, in the corner. You have a video idea? Yes? Wally? Wally would be cool. You know, there's a whole group of guys in the Bay Area that do robot builds. They do R2-D2 robots, and one guy was working on Wally. He owns a winery, and as a hobby, he builds robots. And so he was building a full-scale, remote-controlled, functioning Wally. It was very, very cool. I could certainly make one that would collect dust. I would make one that would look good, and his eyes would light up, but I don't think I would make one that would actually mechanically work. For whatever reason, as a young man, I rebelled against my father's ability to build stuff mechanically, and so I never actually learned metalworking, which I actually regret. But I can do it, and I could make it so his head would move or his hands could open, but he wouldn't work in the sense that the Robot Club guys are doing it. Was that a hand in the back? No, just adjusting hair. All righty, yes. Right now I am making, let's see. So there's three different places I get money, well, four, but three different places I get money from YouTube. I have my Patreon account where people actually pledge money. I have Google AdSense, where you just turn on the monetization of the videos. That's why you have the pre-roll commercials, and that will give you some money. And then I have sponsorships. I'll get a couple of hundred from Patreon. I'll get 1,500 to 2,000 a month. This is a month from Google AdSense. And then per video, it'll be 2,000, 3,000 per sponsor. So I am making enough money to support myself as an individual off of YouTube currently. I'm almost making enough money to support my family and potentially leave my day job. And one of the main things I'm keeping my day job is because of life insurance and health insurance. Those are pretty major, and I have that with the station, especially for my wife, which is really good. So that's what's really holding me on, because otherwise I'm competing for time. It's like I could go make a video and I could make this much, but I'm sitting here and I'm making this much. But PBS is awesome though, as a production environment. It has a very comfortable, nice, good place to work with stripes. Okay, another idea. Like an opening Pokeball. Pokeball has been asked a number of times. I could, but I've held off on it because Bandai's made so many toys, and I can actually find them with Goodwill. So I haven't, because I could, but it seems like something is fairly, easy isn't the right way to put it, but it seems like, it's like, well, so I haven't. I could. Yes, sorry. What inspires me to do the paycheck? What inspires me to do YouTube? I really enjoy the comments. I enjoy the interaction with the people, both on social media and in the comments at the end of the videos. The day the video goes up, the first 8 hours is the most fun because the comments are just coming in. And It's all very positive. Imagine having a few thousand people that want to tell you they enjoyed your video. That's a lot of fun. Got 5 minutes. What stripes? Yes, you, sir.
So, what is the most faithful thing that you made?
What is the most faithful prop that I've made?
Favorite prop
Oh, favorite prop that I made. All right. Well, I did the
that the people comment.
people comment on. Okay, one of my favorites is actually from DIY Prop Shop, and that's probably Ash's chainsaw hand from The Evil Dead. So I made a fake chainsaw body you can put your hand into, because in the movie he loses his right hand and puts a chainsaw on it so he can fight zombies. Oh, the people's taste. That's harder to judge. The most viewed video I have on all the channels is the Infinity Gauntlet. And that's probably partly because of the movie, right? There's a tie-in with what's popular in movies versus what's going to be seen. So that's got almost 5 million views, and that one seems to be really a big favorite. But at the same time, people don't look through my back catalog. I put out this video, the 4th comment, you should make the Infinity Gauntlet. I did, and I put a pattern out for it with red. What kind of microphones do I recommend? What kind of microphones do I recommend? I'm not a sound guy. What I have is a Sennheiser EW100, so that's actually a wireless lav with a pack that I can wear. I really like the lav mics. I've seen those used most of the time with most of the videos that I've done. But the Sennheiser system's like $600. So it's a little pricey for anyone starting out. I've got an older microphone that just plugs into the mic port, but still kind of connects under your shirt. It's about the size of my pinky. It's not discreet. It actually does a really good job too. So I like the hands-free microphone, and I like having the mic closer to me because it's easier to hear. To me, it's way too tinny when the camera's over there, and I'm relying on that that microphone to catch my audio. Yes.
Okay. So, you know what Harry Potter is?
Yes.
In the third movie, it has the book. It's called the Book of Monsters.
The Book of Monsters. Yes.
It opens and closes the monsters. You can make that.
I could make that. I think Dylan did that, didn't she, for DIY Prop Shop? Doesn't mean that you know who I'm talking about, but no, I've seen that. I did the golden snitch for DIY Prop Shop, and I put it in a little bell jar like it's on display. So I've got a golden snitch made from a ping pong ball and wires from a pair of headphones. You, sir.
What's the best way to make subscribers?
The best way to make subscribers. The hardest thing with making subscribers is catching them to begin with. The best way to make subscribers is to make good content, is to actually make, this goes along with what my preferences are. If the video starts out with, yo, 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 I'm gonna do a thing, it's like, yeah, next, click. Just not interested in that. So I would think good content, trying to make sure that, because it doesn't matter what your content is. There's what, 7 billion people in the world? My audience is worldwide. USA is 40% of my audience, that's it. Everyone else is somewhere else. Just make stories that are either interesting or compelling, or make a how-to content that anyone, anywhere would have interest in seeing. Something else that I get asked to do a lot, but I've never done as my medium, is why don't you make something out of cardboard? There's a whole extra step doing something with cardboard, because now you're basically making little boxes. Foam will hold its own shape, will make a compound curve. Cardboard can't. And you have to build a whole bunch of little ribs to go inside and hot glue everything to make a really organic cardboard prop. If you know how to work with cardboard and want to make a how-to video, go for it. Way in the back.
Okay, so
This is gonna be the last one.
how do you do what you do?
How do I do what I do? At this point, for all of our home viewers, what you want to do, how do I do what I do, is actually just go back to the beginning of the video and start all over again. With building the props, all my life I've been interested in making models, making tabletop miniatures. I played a lot of Warhammer 40K and a lot of D&D. Actually, I made a lot of miniatures for D&D. I hardly played it because I like the toys. So I just learned all sorts of different little ways and tricks on how to paint things and how to glue things, what plastics would glue, what plastics wouldn't glue, what plastics would glue with what material, right? You can't use acetone on styrofoam because you end up with a melted mess, but you can use white glue. It just takes forever to dry. It was a lifelong learning process of what works and what doesn't work, and that's a big reason why I always at the end of my video say, this is how Odin would make, because this is what I've figured out that works for me, but there's gonna be a different way, and I don't wanna pretend like my way is the only way. All right, so unfortunately, I think my time is up. I really appreciate everyone coming out listening to me. I hope I was at least mildly entertaining. And I'm totally approachable. If you see me in the campus, you're welcome to walk up to me and talk to me. I'm happy to talk to you. I'm happy to share any other specific questions you might have. And I'm gonna be moving over to room 105. So thank you all very much. I hope this helped.